Let's talk about money. Adobe used to work like every other program on earth. You bought Photoshop once, you owned it, and it was yours forever. Then, in 2013, Adobe quietly killed that. No more owning anything. Now you rent it every single month for the rest of your life. The full set of Adobe apps runs about $70 a month, and that's over $800 a year. Buy only the handful you actually need, and you're still looking at more than $2,000 a year. Over 10 years, that's the price of a used car, spent on software you never even own. And the second you stop paying, Adobe locks the door, and your own files are trapped inside. That's not a company anymore. So that's a vampire with a monthly billing cycle. So today, we're doing something about it. Adobe runs a whole empire of apps, one for every job, and we're going through every single category and replacing it with a tool that does the same thing for free. First up, the one everybody knows, photo editing. This is Adobe Photoshop, the app, so famous. Its name turned into a verb. Photoshop costs around $23 a month, which works out to about $276 a year, just to edit some pictures. But here's the useful part. Photoshop actually does 3 completely different jobs, and there's a brilliant free tool for each one. The first is called Photopea. So what does it actually do? You open a website and you're editing. That's the whole setup. No download, no account, nothing to install. You can cut a person out of a photo, swap out an ugly background, straighten a crooked horizon, rescue a picture that came out too dark, or design a clean thumbnail for your video in a few minutes. Say your boss messages you asking to remove someone from a group photo for the company website, and they need it in 10 minutes. You don't have Photoshop. You don't have time to install anything. You just open Photopea in a browser tab, and the job is done before the coffee's cold. If you've ever needed to edit just one image and didn't want to hand Adobe your credit card to do it, this is the tab you open. And the story behind it is almost hard to believe. Photopea was built by one person. His name is Ivan Kutskier. He was born in Ukraine. He lives in Prague. And he started building this thing back in 2013 as a hobby while he was still at university. To this day, he is still the only developer. No team, no office, no investors. Just one guy who now earns over $1 million a year, mostly from the small ads you see off to the side. Now here's the part that surprises people. Photopea opens real Photoshop files. If a designer sends you their work with every layer still inside, Photopea opens it perfectly, layers and all, so you can finish someone's Photoshop project without ever owning a single copy of Photoshop. The catch is small. There are a few ads, unless you pay $5 a month to hide them, and if you throw a truly enormous file at it, your browser can get a bit sluggish, and on privacy, it holds up well. Your images are handled right there inside your browser. They aren't quietly uploaded to some server in the background. What's on your screen stays on your machine. A browser tab is perfect for quick jobs. But when you want the full desktop powerhouse, the one that has been around longer than Google itself, you want the second tool. That tool is GIMP. It has an unfortunate name. It stands for the GNU Image Manipulation Program, and honestly, the name is the worst thing about it. What does it do? It's a complete photo editor that lives on your computer. Serious retouching, removing objects you don't want in the shot, working with layers and masks, restoring damaged old family photos, all the heavy lifting Photoshop is famous for. GIMP does it, and it has done it for a very long time. Imagine you've got an old photo of your grandparents that's faded and cracked and torn at one corner. With GIMP, you can rebuild the missing pieces, bring the color back, and print it out looking almost new. That's the kind of job people used to pay a photo studio real money to do. Here, you do it yourself. For nothing. How long exactly? GIMP first appeared in 1996. It was written by 2 students at Berkeley, and it is older than Google, older than YouTube, older than most of the people editing photos today. It has just quietly kept going for nearly 30 years straight. The hidden surprise here is that GIMP recently grew up. The version 3 release, which landed in 2025, finally added something called non-destructive editing, which is a fancy way of saying you can change your mind halfway through without ruining everything you've already done. And on top of that, there are hundreds of free add-ons that people have written to make it do almost anything you can imagine. The catch is worth being honest about. The layout looks a little dated, and it has never handled print color as smoothly as professional designers want. For anything on a screen, it's fantastic. For sending files to a professional printer, it can get fiddly. On ownership, GIMP is about as clean as it gets. It runs fully offline. It never asks you to log in, and there's no cloud sitting there holding your work hostage. GIMP edits photos that already exist. But what if you want to draw one from a blank page? That is a completely different job, and it needs the third tool. Say hello to Krita. If GIMP is for fixing photos, Krita is for making art. What it does is easy to picture. It's built for people who draw, comic artists, illustrators, concept artists, anyone with a drawing tablet and an idea in their head. Those gorgeous hand-painted digital illustrations you scroll past online, there's a very good chance Krita was behind a lot of them. It's the free answer to Adobe's drawing apps, and artists genuinely adore it. If your kid loves to draw and keeps asking for expensive art software, this is the thing you download. It comes with hundreds of brushes that mimic real pencils, inks, and paints. So a cheap tablet plus Krita gives them a full art studio on the screen without a subscription attached to it. Krita came out of the open source world around 1999, and today it's run by the Krita Foundation, funded mostly by the same users who rely on it every day. It was made by artists, for artists, and you can feel that the moment you start using it. Here's the surprise most people miss. Krita has a full animation timeline built right in. You can hand draw animation, frame by frame, the old-fashioned way, completely free. Big studios pay a fortune for that ability. Krita just includes it in the box. The catch is that Krita knows exactly what it is. It's a painting tool, not a photo editor. Try to touch up a wedding photo with it, and you'll be fighting the software the whole way. Use it to draw, and it's a joy. And like the others, it's yours. Free, offline, no watermark stamped across your work, no subscription clock ticking down in the background. So that's the entire Photoshop department covered, 3 different ways. But there's one more kind of image person we haven't helped yet, the photographer. If you own a real camera and shoot in what's called RAW, Adobe has a separate app just for you called Lightroom at around $12 a month. The free replacement for that is Darktable. What it does is handle a photographer's real workflow. You dump hundreds of photos from a shoot onto your computer, and Darktable helps you sort through them, fix the exposure and the color, and polish the good ones, all without ever touching the original files. It's basically a darkroom that lives on your laptop. It was built by a German researcher named Johannes Hanicke back in 2009, and it has been updated over and over ever since, several times a year without fail. The catch is real. Darktable does not hold your hand. Your photos start out looking flat and lifeless, and you have to learn how to bring them back to life yourself. It's powerful, but it asks for patience. The reward is that your entire photo library sits on your machine, under your control, instead of living in Adobe's cloud, waiting for the month your subscription lapses. That's every kind of image handled. Now we move to the department that costs the most, and where the free option is almost embarrassingly good: video. This is where Adobe really reaches into your wallet, because serious video work usually means not one of their apps, but 2. Premiere Pro for the editing, and After Effects for the fancy motion graphics and effects. Rent both of those, and you are paying well over $500 a year. And then there's DaVinci Resolve, which quietly makes that whole arrangement look ridiculous. So what does it do? Everything. You bring in your clips, cut them together, add titles and music, fix the colors so the footage looks cinematic, and clean up the audio, all inside one single program. And that one free program does the job of both Premiere and After Effects at the same time. One download replaces two separate subscriptions. Think about what that means. Somebody editing videos for a living could be paying Adobe over $500 a year across two apps, doing work that this one free program handles in a single window. You could edit an entire short film in here, from the first cut to the final polished color, and never open your wallet once. The story is the strange part. DaVinci Resolve is made by a very successful camera company called Blackmagic Design, and for reasons that still confuse people, they give this thing away for free. And I don't mean a crippled little trial version. I mean the real, full, professional software. Now, here's the part that sounds made up. The color grading tools inside Resolve, the ones that make footage look like a movie, are the same tools used on actual Hollywood films. Movies like John Wick and Deadpool had their color finished in Resolve. And the free version you can download tonight includes roughly 95% of what the paid version offers. The catch is fair enough. Resolve wants a reasonably modern computer with a decent graphics card, and it is not something you'll master in a single afternoon. The first time you open it, it can feel like sitting down in an airplane cockpit. But it's free, it runs on your own machine, and every project you make belongs entirely to you. Now, Resolve is a serious amount of program. If all you want is to trim some clips for YouTube, or stitch together a family video without going to film school, there's a gentler option waiting for you. That option is Kdenlive. Strange name, friendly software. What it does is simple video editing without the intimidation. Drag your clips onto a timeline, cut out the boring parts, drop in some text and music, and export it. It's the tool for normal people who just want the video finished and out the door. It's been quietly built by an open source community for around 20 years now, so it's stable and it's mature. The catch is that it isn't as flashy or as powerful as Resolve, and it can crash on you every once in a while, so get into the habit of saving often. But it costs nothing. It runs offline, and it never once nags you to upgrade. Quick question before we keep going. Out of everything we've covered so far, which one were you actually paying Adobe for? Drop it in the comments. I'm genuinely curious. Which app has the most people trapped? All right. From pictures moving on a screen to the thing that quietly makes or breaks every video ever made, sound. Adobe's tool here is called Audition, and it runs about $23 a month just for cleaning up audio. The free version that basically the entire internet already uses is Audacity. So what does it do? If you record anything with your voice, a podcast, a voiceover, the narration for a video, Audacity is where you fix it. You can record straight into it, cut out your mistakes, strip the background hum out of a noisy room, and make a cheap microphone sound a whole lot more expensive than it was. Picture recording a voice message for work, or the narration for a video like this one, and there's a fan buzzing in the background and a dog barking 2 houses down. You drop it into Audacity, grab a second of that background noise, and tell it to erase that sound from the whole recording. Suddenly, your voice is clean, like you recorded it in a proper studio. People will forgive a bad picture. They will not forgive bad audio, and this is the free tool that quietly saves you. Audacity was released back in the year 2000 by two people at Carnegie Mellon University, and for 25 years, it has been the default free audio editor for pretty much everyone on the planet. The hidden bonus is that Audacity accepts professional plugins, like the same kind used in real music studios, so it grows with you as your skills get better. And I'll be honest about the catch, because it matters. Back in 2021, new owners added some data tracking to Audacity, and the community absolutely lost its mind over it. Most of that was walked back after the backlash, but it's part of the app's history, and you deserve to hear it straight. Today, it runs offline, it's open source, and your recordings stay yours. Sound done. Next up, the department hiding behind every logo you have ever seen in your life, vector graphics. This is Adobe Illustrator, another $23 a month. And to explain what it's actually for, here's the difference that matters. A normal photo is made of tiny pixels, so when you blow it up too big, it falls apart into a blurry mess. A vector is made of math instead, so it can scale up to the size of a building and stay perfectly sharp. Logos, icons, and clean illustrations are all built as vectors. The free tool that does this is Inkscape. What it does is let you design anything that needs to stay crisp at any size at all. A business logo, an app icon, a poster, a diagram for a presentation. You draw it once inside Inkscape, and it looks flawless, whether it ends up on a tiny business card or a giant billboard. So if you're starting a small business and you need a proper logo, but a designer wants to charge you hundreds for one, this is where you make it yourself. And because it's a vector, that same logo will look sharp on your website. Printed on a mug or blown up on a banner at an event. You build it once, and it works everywhere. Inkscape started back in 2003, and it was built on the open web standard for vector files, which means its work plays nicely with almost every other program out there. The surprise feature is that Inkscape can take a normal photo and trace it into a clean vector shape automatically. The first time you watch it happen, it genuinely looks like magic. It can also open Illustrator's own files directly. The catch is that on really complex artwork, it can slow down a bit, and opening Adobe's files isn't always completely flawless. But your work is saved in an open format that any program can read, so you are never locked inside one company's walls. 2 departments left. And the next one is the single most impressive thing on this entire list. Meet the world of 3D. Adobe charges around $600 a year for its 3D tools. $600. The free tool that replaces them and honestly leaves them behind is Blender. So what does it actually do? You know those spinning product videos in ads, the animated characters in commercials, the CGI in the movies you watch? This is how a huge amount of that gets made. Inside Blender, you can build a 3D object from scratch, a coffee mug, a car, a little character, then light it, spin it around, and turn it into a photorealistic image or a full animation. Let's say you're selling a product online and you want a slick video of it rotating slowly on a clean background. The kind of shot that makes something look expensive. You don't need a camera, a studio, or the actual product in your hands. You can build it inside Blender and render out a video that looks like a professional ad agency made it. Blender's origin is the best story in this whole video. It began in 1994 inside a Dutch animation studio. When that studio hit hard times, the community that loved the software did something wild. They raised 100,000 euros to buy Blender's freedom and release it to the entire world. They basically crowdfunded a piece of software out of captivity. And this is not some hobby toy. Blender has been used on real blockbusters, including shots in Spider-Man, Across the Spider-Verse. Professional artists use this free program on films you have paid money to watch in a cinema. The catch, and I won't sugarcoat it, is that Blender is the hardest program on this whole list to learn. Opening it for the very first time feels like someone handed you the controls of a jumbo jet and then walked away. But the people who push through that come out the other side making things that look genuinely professional. And it is free forever. No royalties, no cloud, no strings on ownership. Whatever you make is completely and entirely yours. One department left. And it's the one that touches your life the most, whether you're a creative person or not. Documents and PDFs. Adobe Acrobat is the app everybody bumps into eventually, usually the exact moment you need to do one tiny thing to a PDF, and you discover Adobe wants around $20 a month for the privilege. The free tool that ends that whole annoyance is PDF 24. So, what does it do? Basically, everything you have ever fought a PDF over. Merge a pile of separate files into one, split one giant file back apart, shrink a file that's too big to email, turn a locked PDF into an editable Word document, sign a form, add a password, rearrange the pages into the right order. All those little tasks Adobe loves to charge you for, sitting in one free toolkit. We've all been there. You need to sign a contract and send it back, and the file is too big for email, and half of it is upside down because somebody scanned it wrong. Normally, that's the moment Adobe pops up asking for money. With PDF 24, you just fix all three problems in about a minute, and you never pay for the privilege of dealing with your own paperwork. PDF 24 comes from a German software company, and it has quietly done this exact job for years without ever asking you for a cent. The hidden gem is that it can also pull text straight out of a scanned image. So a photo of a printed document becomes text you can actually select and copy. That one feature usually sits locked behind a paywall everywhere else. The catch is minor. The design is plain and practical rather than pretty, and the full desktop version is happiest running on Windows. And here's the best part when it comes to owning your stuff. The desktop version does all of this completely offline. Your documents, which are often the most private files you own, never leave your computer. Nothing gets uploaded anywhere at all. And with that, the whole empire is done. So let's add it up. If you rented Adobe's apps one by one to do everything we just walked through, you would be paying somewhere north of $2,000 a year, every single year, for as long as you kept using them. And we just replaced all of it. Photo editing, painting, photography, video, effects, audio, vector design, 3D, and PDFs. The total price of that entire toolkit? Nothing. There is one honest trade I have to mention. Free tools usually ask you to learn a little more, in the same breath that Adobe asks you to pay so everything feels easy. For a couple of these, like Blender, that trade takes real effort. For most of them, it's the easiest money you will ever save in your life. And here's the thing that really gets me. Every one of these tools was built by people who could have sold out, locked it behind a monthly fee, and cashed in. Most of them chose not to. They just wanted to build something good and hand it to you. That's rarer than it sounds, and it's worth appreciating. So, here's my question for you. Out of every tool on this list, which one are you installing first? Tell me down in the comments. And if this saved you some money, you should know that Adobe isn't the only empire built on payments you forgot you were making. There's another giant sitting on your computer right now, quietly doing the exact same thing. In the next video, we're taking that one apart too, department by department, the same way. It's on your screen right now. I'll see you there.